Hey everyone, this is Numismatic Muse. I wanted to make a video actually as a follow-up to the Coin Realm videos that have been made. I highly recommend you go check out his channel. He does an excellent recap of the historical events that happen alongside these coins that he shared, and he is much better at doing that than I am. I have done those videos before, and they're tons of work. I would much prefer leave him to that, so I will refer to that video for you to learn about the historical events around it. And I wanted to make my own video talking about grading when it comes to a few of the coins that he's discussing. So, to go along with this, I do just want to mention that the grading that I'm discussing is US grading terms, and it is specifically using PCGS, but we'll talk about some of the characteristics of the coins. So this is a hammered piece, which I think it's fair to argue should not really follow the same scale as modern pieces. This coin was not struck in a closed collar, which is one of the dies. So there's a die on the obverse and the reverse, and then there would be one for the collar as well, which helps give more uniformity. It helps with the strike being better. This obviously does not have that. And this was not made by machine, which is when we say milled, that's with machine. So to discuss this coin really quick, it's been given AU55 grade, which means it's almost uncirculated. We definitely have some wear on the high points. There's some weakness in the strike, but that's not to be confused with wear. If I move this coin to the light, you can see here, in and among the lettering, what we have is luster, which I would say is in the protected areas. You can see just a little bit of that. To go alongside that, we have a few marks on the coin. There's a small mark here, and there's a small mark here. These, there's a lot of discussion on what they actually are. My belief, personally, is that they are something that has been embedded into the metal when it was rolled out. So this little bit was just some small piece of debris, and then it got struck onto the coin, which is why it shows up like that. Different people will call it different things. It's believed that there's like impurities in the metal that cause it. A lot of places will call it haymarking, but that's what I believe it to be. You can kind of discuss what you think it is in the comments if you like. On this coin, we also have right here a small split. So that's not something to distract from the coin. It does in some manner, but it is just to say that is not damage to the coin that happened after it was mint. That happened when it was struck. So if any of you know, when you strike metal and it is not soft enough, it will cause it to crack or split. So this example here has slight splitting from when it was struck. To go alongside that, and I'll go ahead and call this, there's some terms that different people use. In England, they generally call it the flan, which is just the piece of metal that the coin is struck on. I'll most likely be referring to it as the planchet. The planchet here is well struck, well centered. You can see the lettering here almost all the way around, which is usually quite prized for hammered coinage. Quite frequently, you cannot see all the lettering, and there's a little bit that's missing here just because of the crude production that made these coins. Okay, so let's look at the other side. So I have to hold this at a bit of an angle because, as I mentioned, there was less preciseness when they struck these, so this is not necessarily a specific orientation, it's just however it fell, whereas more modern coins will follow what we call a portrait or a metal orientation. Okay, sorry, it's going in and out. So if you see here, there's a little bit of kind of spotting underneath, and it looks like what probably happened is this coin was struck more than once. And when they restruck it, some of the design got flattened out with new design. That can be very typical on older coinage. We have that split that I mentioned from before. Just to kind of show, as I mentioned, the luster in the protected areas. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. I just wanted to kind of talk about the condition of the coins. This is my example that I keep in my collection. I collect one per monarch, so this is my first one. I know some of you might mention a test tune down in the comments, but I prefer to leave off the test tune for now. We'll tackle that when the time comes, but for now I'm just focusing on the 20. So as I mentioned, please do go check out the Coin Realms videos. They're very good, and I'm going to start posting a few more to kind of coincide with his, to talk about the condition of coins and some of the features of how the coins were struck at the time. So thank you.